Welcome to our deep dive today. We'll be looking at this really fantastic Love Ireland newsletter.
Oh, yeah.
It's full of all these interesting little pieces about Irish culture and travel and even
Oh.
even some fun facts about the language.
It is really a treasure trove of information, isn't it?
It is.
And it's clear that they've put so much passion and attention into detail,
Absolutely, yeah.
It's not just thrown together.
Yeah. So today we're going to explore what makes Ireland so unique
Great.
and answer the age-old question. Can anyone really learn an Irish accent?
Oh, well, that's a question that's fascinated language enthusiasts for ages, hasn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
The newsletter starts with this evocative quote. On Rud is anam is Iontach, which means what is rare is wonderful.
I love that quote.
I know, right?
It really does capture the essence of Ireland, doesn't it?
It does.
In a world that's becoming increasingly homogenized, I think Ireland has really held on to its traditions, its language, its own unique rhythm in a way that feels incredibly special.
Yes, it's like they've managed to preserve a kind of magic that
Yeah,
you don't find everywhere.
absolutely.
No wonder people feel so drawn to it.
Yeah.
Speaking of being drawn in,
Yeah.
there's a video here about learning an Irish accent. They even suggest pausing the video to
Yeah.
practice the sounds.
Right.
Have you ever tried to master a new accent?
I've dabbled in a few over the years.
Right.
And I think what I've learned is that immersing yourself in the sounds, really listening to the nuances of pronunciation and intonation is key.
Totally. Makes you think about how much our environment shapes the way we speak.
Yeah.
The newsletter talks about Liam Neeson,
Yes.
how he was born in Ballymena, County Antrim, and raised in a Catholic family.
Yes, and that Ballymena accent is so distinctive, isn't it? I mean, it's fascinating how specific regional accents can be, even within a relatively small country like Ireland.
Totally. Definitely adds a layer of authenticity to his performances. And speaking of authenticity, I think that's something this Love Ireland newsletter does really well.
Yeah.
It feels genuine and passionate, not like a generic tourism brochure.
Absolutely. It feels like it's written by people who truly love Ireland and want to share that love with others.
Yeah. Okay, ready for a little trivia?
Sure.
The newsletter has a quiz question for us. Which Irish county is home to the Cliffs of Moher? Think you know.
Let me see. Those iconic, dramatic cliffs. It has to be County Clare.
You got it. County Clare it is.
Of course.
And speaking of beautiful destinations, the newsletter takes us to County Wexford, nicknamed the Model County.
Right.
They highlight the Hook Lighthouse, which is said to be the oldest operational lighthouse in the world,
Wow.
and Kirklow Beach.
Kirkcaldy Beach is absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
I mean, with its golden sands and dramatic dunes.
really beautiful.
And the Hook Lighthouse, standing sentinel for centuries. It's a testament to Ireland's rich maritime history, isn't it?
Definitely adding those to the travel bucket list.
Ooh.
But maybe not in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
There's a report on the Irish weather mentioning frost and sub-zero temperatures. Brr.
That's a good reminder that while Ireland is known for its lush greenery, it can experience all four seasons in a day.
Right.
Winter can be quite cold, especially along the coast.
So maybe pack a few extra layers just in case.
Absolutely.
Now for a bit of a laugh.
Okay.
The newsletter has a section on things you should never say to Irish people. Apparently, top of the morning to ya is a big no-no.
I think that falls into the category of well-intentioned but often cringe-worthy attempts at mimicking accents or phrases.
Yeah. It's a good reminder to be mindful of cultural sensitivity, even in humor. What might seem like a harmless phrase can actually come across as stereotypical or insensitive.
Absolutely. It's always best to approach different cultures with respect and a willingness to learn.
And speaking of learning, the newsletter does a great job of sharing insights into Irish culture and traditions. It even has a section on the Irish language. Did you know that Irish is a Celtic language, and it's actually one of the oldest living languages in Europe?
It is. And it's experiencing a bit of a revival these days, isn't it? With more and more people interested in learning it, there's a growing appreciation for the importance of preserving cultural heritage.
And what's amazing is that this newsletter makes learning about these things so accessible and fun.
It really does. It's not just dry facts and figures. They weave in stories, anecdotes, and humor to make it engaging and relatable.
Exactly. Like this anecdote about the smallest park run ever in County Kerry. Only 2 runners braved Storm Dara at Inch Beach.
Wow. That's dedication. And given the weather report we just discussed, with frost and sub-zero temperatures, that's truly impressive.
Talk about hardcore park runners. This makes me wonder if those chilly conditions are typical for Ireland this time of year.
It really varies. I mean, Ireland's weather is notoriously unpredictable. But winter can definitely be quite cold, especially along the coast.
So layering up is definitely a good idea if you're planning a winter trip to Ireland. Speaking of planning a trip, this newsletter is packed with tempting travel suggestions.
It really is. They've highlighted some hidden gems and off-the-beaten-path destinations that you might not find in a typical guidebook.
And they do a great job of capturing the spirit of each place, making you feel like you're already there.
It's true. And they don't just focus on the really popular tourist spots either.
Right.
They highlight some lesser-known areas like County Wexford, for instance,
Huh?
which they describe as a hidden gem.
It's funny you should mention authenticity,
Yeah.
because the newsletter has this really intriguing section
Okay.
titled, What Does Ireland Whisper to Your Heart?
Oh, that sounds poetic. I'm curious to hear what they have to say about that.
They talk about how Ireland isn't just a place you visit. It's a place that stirs something deep within you. They even use the phrase, ancient secrets whispered to your heart.
I love that imagery. There's definitely a certain mystique to Ireland, a sense of history and folklore that's woven into the very landscape. It's as if the land itself holds stories just waiting to be discovered.
And this newsletter does a fantastic job of uncovering those stories. They've done their research,
Yeah,
and they're sharing those hidden gems with their readers.
absolutely. It's clear they're passionate about showcasing the real Ireland, beyond the stereotypes and tourist traps.
Absolutely. They even highlight experiences that are likely to sell out in 2025,
Yeah.
urging readers to book in advance,
Wow.
like a seaweed foraging tour along the Wild Atlantic Way.
Seaweed foraging, that sounds fascinating. It's amazing how they found these unique experiences, that connect you with nature and local traditions.
It's like they've curated a collection of adventures that will appeal to all kinds of travelers.
Yeah.
And speaking of adventures, let's not forget about that delicious Guinness beef stew recipe tucked away in the Irish food you will love section.
Oh, right. I'd almost forgotten about that.
I know, right?
I can practically smell the rich aroma of beef and Guinness simmering on the stove.
Yes.
The perfect comfort food, I think, after a day of exploring the Irish countryside.
And they've even included a link to their Love Ireland cooking channel
Oh, wow.
for even more Irish recipes.
Oh, fantastic.
They really have thought of everything.
They really have. It's like they've created an entire world of Irish experiences, all accessible through this newsletter.
Exactly. They've got travel tips, cultural insights, language lessons, food, and even a bit of humor sprinkled in. It's a one-stop shop for all things Ireland.
And what's impressive is how seamlessly they weave it all together. It feels very natural and engaging, not forced or promotional at all.
You know, I'm starting to see why this Love Ireland newsletter has such a devoted following.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's more than just a newsletter, isn't it? It's a community of people who share a passion for Ireland, and that passion is contagious.
Speaking of contagious, I have to share this hilarious bit from the newsletter. They ask if we know any rude Irish place names.
Oh, that's funny. I'm sure there are some real gems out there. Place names can be so quirky sometimes.
Right. It makes you wonder about the stories behind those names, the history that's embedded in the language itself.
It's a reminder that language is constantly evolving, reflecting the humor and sometimes the irreverence of the people who speak it.
And this newsletter does a great job of capturing that spirit of playfulness and irreverence
Yeah.
that's so characteristic of Irish culture.
Absolutely. They don't shy away from the more lighthearted aspects of Irish life, which makes it even more relatable and endearing.
It's like they're inviting you to become part of the inside joke, to experience Ireland with a sense of humor and a twinkle in your eye.
That's what makes this newsletter so special. It's not just informative, it's entertaining and heartwarming. It makes you want to pack your bags and experience Ireland for yourself.
Absolutely. And speaking of experiencing Ireland, did you know that the newsletter also includes a section on traditional Irish music? They talk about the different instruments, the history of the music, and even recommend some contemporary artists to check out.
That's fantastic. Irish music is such an integral part of the culture. It's so soulful and evocative, it really transports you to another place and time.
It's true. And they've even included links to some online radio stations and streaming services where you
Wow.
can listen to Irish music.
They've really gone above and beyond to create a comprehensive and immersive experience for their readers. It's not just about reading about Ireland, it's about feeling it, hearing it, tasting it.
They've created a multisensory journey through the heart of Ireland, and they've done it all with a sense of passion and authenticity that's truly inspiring. It's like they've bottled the essence of Ireland
Yeah.
and poured it into this newsletter.
That's a great way to put it. It's not just information.
Right.
It's an experience.
Exactly. So what does this all mean? We've journeyed through Irish culture, tackled accents,
Yeah.
explored breathtaking landscapes,
Right.
even dabbled in cuisine.
Hmm.
What are your key takeaways?
You know, what stands out to me is this underlying sense of warmth and invitation.
Yeah.
It's like they're saying, come join us, experience the heart and soul of Ireland. And they provide so many different avenues to do just that, whether it's through travel, food, music, or even language.
You're right. It's not just about being a tourist. It's about connecting with the culture on a deeper level.
Exactly. They've really tapped into that emotional connection that people have with Ireland.
Yeah.
And they've created a space where that passion can really flourish.
I think that's the genius of this Love Ireland newsletter.
Yeah.
They've managed to create a community of people who share a love for this magical island.
And they've done it in a way that feels genuine and authentic, not forced or commercialized at all. It's
Right.
like they're sharing their love of Ireland with a close friend.
I couldn't agree more. It's a reminder that the best travel experiences aren't just about ticking off sites on a list.
Right.
It's about connecting with the people, the culture, and the spirit of a place.
Absolutely. And this newsletter does a fantastic job of facilitating those connections.
So if you could experience just one thing in Ireland, what would it be?
Oh, that's a tough one. There are so many possibilities.
I know.
But if I had to choose, I think it would be to spend an evening in a traditional Irish pub, listening to live music, sipping a pint of Guinness, and just soaking up the atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know, it's those simple moments, those genuine human connections that create the most lasting memories.
I love that. It sounds like the perfect way to experience the heart and soul of Ireland.
It really does.
Well, I think that's a perfect note to end our Irish adventure on.
Yeah.
For those of you who want to keep exploring after this deep dive, I highly recommend checking out the Love Ireland newsletter.
Absolutely.
They even offer a free trial so you can experience the magic for yourself.
It's a wonderful way to stay connected to Ireland, even if you can't physically be there.
Until next time, slime.